Hey there, and welcome to the Get More MSP Leads podcast. I have one of the most special guests ever, a longtime friend of mine, a former coworker turned coworker in my own business, Kathryn DiGennaro. Kathryn leads our client success team and interacts with our clients every day. So I thought, who better than to talk about what to look for in an MSP marketing partner than Kathryn? So, Kathryn, welcome to the Get More MSP Leads podcast. Thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Laura. So I think this is my second time, first time on MSP Leads, but
That's
second time
right,
on the
that's right.
podcast. So
We have a
thanks
new
for having me
brand.
back.
That's right. We
Yeah.
realized we were talking a lot about how to get more MSP leads, and that made more sense to name the podcast. So I do wanna just talk about your background, how long you worked inside of the MSP that we both worked for, what your role was there, just to kind of refresh. I know you probably shared this on the last one too, but just talk a little bit about that, and, how that company grew and what you feel like you learned about our customer now while you were there. If you don't mind just sharing a little bit of your background, and nothing's off limits. You can be real here.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, last 3 years I've been at the agency side. Before that, I was inside working for an MSP. Did not come from the background at all. So I learned so much while I was there. And honestly, just learned about like what people are like what our customer at the time was looking for because we were still
Yeah.
selling B2B on that side too. And so, yeah, I worked for an MSP for 5 years and now I'm on the agency side. And you are, I'm getting to understand our customer even more on a deeper level. So marketing for someone versus actually working for the MSP, of course, are just two different avenues. And so
Right.
I'm grateful to have learned both sides and also just for this industry because it is constantly changing. And I think that could be a challenge for both marketing
Yeah.
and the customer too.
Yeah.
And so we're pivoting, they're pivoting, and we're learning together. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. I did not ever think that I would ever go into this
Yeah,
industry, but
I
I'm very
know, just
grateful
tech
for it.
girls in Mississippi. I love it. And
I know, right?
yeah, just like, I love your unique perspective having been on the inside, because a lot of people are sitting in the seat where you are sitting, where they're trying to find help. They're trying to find a marketing partner,
Mhm.
or you were supporting a sales team, and part of kind of the marketing and sales engine at the MSP that you work for. And so do you feel like, if you were back in that seat, like put yourself back in that seat, you're supporting the CEO or the founder or the marketing or sales leader at an IT company, an MSP, what are we looking for in a marketing partner? How do we find the right person? Do you have, kind of, and also, from the inside, you're getting to kind of see it from both, but how would you advise
Mhm.
somebody if they're like, hey, we're trying to figure out who our next marketing partner is going to be? What would you say? How would you give them advice, and what are they looking for versus what we know they need? Because I think that there's a
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. I think for the actual client looking for a marketing agency or someone to work for or work with on the marketing side, that marketing agency needs to know the industry. They need to
Yeah.
know who the client is selling to. They need to understand the product because
Yeah.
it's in its own world. And
Yeah.
so you're dealing with IT directors, you're dealing with sometimes office managers. It could be
Yeah.
a multitude of people, but so I would say that, and also just like understanding, as a marketing agency working with a company, we're essentially like the sales team is a huge part of who we work with. They give us
Right.
the most feedback because what we're providing them is what they're putting out to their sales meetings and their potential prospects. And so it needs to resonate. And so, or if they're running ads and they are calling on those leads, what is that feedback for us? And so we're working with them I would say the most because
Yeah.
they're out in the field and they're seeing and getting the feedback from. So I think understanding who they're selling to is so, so, so important because if you don't, you're going to get it wrong or it's
Right.
just not going to feel and like for MSPs, a lot of them can sell it the same way, but they're also their own company. They're their own
Right.
voice, they're their
Gotta have
own
a differentiator.
brand.
Right.
You have to be different. And so that is a huge part of working together is understanding, is for the agency to understand, what that company does and who they're selling to.
Yeah. And how does, as kind of the person that's responsible for that client relationship on our side, how does the relationship look? This is off script, so I'm just gonna surprise you with a bit. Like, how does it look when it's with a sales team leader? I know we're kind of moving up market where we're working with more sales and marketing teams and less founders.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
what is that, what questions are your sales leaders asking versus the founder, or what's the difference between the relationship on our side? Like, what would somebody need to know? Because I think a lot of people that are looking for a marketing partner are either founders that are hopeful that they'll have a partner solve all their problems. I know, and sometimes we realize, hey, it really is good to have some non-founder as our point of contacts because so what's the difference in that relationship? Like, how are we working with a founder versus how are we working with a sales and marketing team, and what would
Yeah.
that founder coming to buy and to make a partnership with an agency, what would that look like, and what would they need to know
Yeah.
about that relationship?
So I think working with a founder, when they come in and they're talking to our team or talking to you, Laura, and on a sales call, and they're saying, hey, we want to do more email campaigns or we need a better CRM or whatever it is. And we kind of have to look a little bit deeper with that person
Mhm,
and be like, well, how does the public know you right now? Do they know you at all? Like, have we
mhm.
done, like, where does the brand sit? And so sometimes that can be hard for people to hear because it kind of
Yeah,
it makes them take a step back. Maybe they're a 20-year-old company, but they have not been doing marketing ever.
yeah.
And
We don't like to
this
call
is
your
really,
baby ugly, but sometimes we have to.
but that's so true. And so,
Yeah,
yeah, I think when you're talking with a founder, you kind of have to understand, okay, where is the company right now? And then, what do we need to do as a marketing company to make sure that, okay, if we're going to run lead or run ads in 6 months, that people at least know who your brand is before we just start throwing out,
right,
those
right.
types of branding. But also for salespeople, knowing that the MSP sales cycle is long.
Yeah,
And so I think it's so important to be on that same page or
right,
for us to know that for the sales team, like, hey, you're going to have to touch somebody probably up to 20 times, depending
right,
on the size of the company before we
right,
can actually get, a meeting booked. Unless your salesperson is like,
right.
a 100 out of 100, it's gonna be hard, and so it's gonna take time, and so I think for us, we also need to let them or remind them or kind of educate the customer
Yeah,
on this is not just like a 6-month relationship, like, we're in a partnership,
partnership.
like, we're about to be besties, so we wanna be, alongside your sales team, but also as a founder, if you're going to conferences or you're speaking on panels that, like, you're fully prepared and, like,
Yeah,
the messaging is the same on both sides.
that's
And
good,
so I
yeah.
think that's something that takes, that doesn't happen overnight. It takes time.
Right. So a partner that knows your industry and your business, like you just said, the number one kind of most important thing is also a partner that's going to be able to, what it sounds like I hear you're saying, is also a partner that's going to be able to work with your team so that the founder could be hands off potentially at some point. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
people are looking for is like, how do I get to the point where I'm not having to drive the marketing? And I think that
Mhm.
depending on the type of founder you are, if you're a technical founder, you might be not interested in driving the marketing, but a lot of these founders want to make sure that it's on point. And so having that
Yeah.
partner understand your space that also can help kind of guide your team. I think that's really important. So, okay, what else? What else do you feel like, okay, if we had to pick the top three, it's somebody who understands the industry and can help support your team. Is there anything else that you feel like is critical as you're selecting a marketing partner for your MSP that warn them or prepare them for?
I mean, yeah, knowing the buying cycle,
Yeah.
knowing the industry, and then also, gosh, I'm trying to think. Just honestly, how you work. I feel like it is so important just to be able to like communicate well. Like our team, I think, is very good at that, and we just
Yeah.
communicate that, and we're also just like we're we wanna learn as much as it like, the more people we can work with on the team, the better, and so I think having that type of like, it's not just a, "Hey, here's what we build, and we're gonna give it to you, you do it." Like, if
Yeah.
that team can also intertwine with the company too, I just think that makes the relationship that much more healthy and
Yeah.
successful,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, if they're looking at somebody and they're, multiple agencies and comparing, I do think that still is a big part, is how engaged,
Yeah.
how communicative are they?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be communicating a lot with the marketing
Yeah.
agency, like,
Yeah,
it's not just.
responsive. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think that one big fear I remember as we were both sitting inside of an MSP, one big fear that I had pretty frequently was, I'm about to hire another art agency, I'm about to have to get them ramped up on who we are, and then I've got to, figure out how they work and work running their systems, and I think that
Mhm.
understanding is the relationship gonna jive well? Like,
Yeah,
are they gonna
yeah,
work the way that we work? Are they gonna respond?
yeah,
Because one of the things that we've kind of always prided ourselves team, and I want to make sure that we, always have this, and I think you've led your team really well in this area, is making sure that we feel like an extension of your in-house team.
yeah,
And so when a marketing partner tries to put you in a box and tries to say, well, this is how you're going to work, then that really changes and disrupts the workflow of your own team. So understanding
Mhm.
your business,
Yeah.
understanding your systems and being responsive. I love
And,
that.
the salespeople are the hardest ones to get on your side. So, like,
Yeah.
if you could get the
We want
sales
them to
team
be
to love to
successful. That's right.
we
That's right.
yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
so, just yeah, like you said, it really just makes the relationship even better and more successful for both people.
That's right. Okay, so if you could give an MSP, we'll close out with this. An MSP one piece of advice as they are selecting or about to sign with their agency, maybe they're like ready to put
Mhm.
pen to paper. What is advice from somebody who's leading a team of account managers and client success managers at an MSP marketing agency? What would you say, like before you sign? Know this. Do you have any closing advice for them?
Am I answering this for
Or
the
the MSP
customer,
founder.
Laura?
Yeah, like
Or
what
the
I'm about to sign,
okay.
what do I need to know? What's Catherine's one piece of either a warning sign before you sign or advice or just like
Yeah.
takeaway that you would
Yeah.
say before you partner, do this?
Yeah. I definitely think before you partner, like, just have trust. Trust who
Oh,
you're gonna partner with, but also, like, don't leave anything out. Like, put it all on the table. Like,
yeah,
the more information you can give, the like I said, we're all about just, like, building our relationship with our clients, and, of
yeah,
course, we want them to have more sales and to know for them to everyone to know their brand, but, like,
yeah,
really, that all takes so much communication and so
yeah,
much like, there's maybe a 20-year-old company that we don't we're coming
no,
in new and fresh, and so just knowing is and so we do a lot at the very beginning, we do a lot of, like, asking questions and learning, and so I think you can never know too much, and
mhm,
so just always be asking questions, have an open mind, and then come in, just ready to, like, work together
yeah,
and know that it's gonna take a little bit of time, that,
right,
success isn't overnight with marketing, especially in
right,
our industry,
right,
but that, that it can work. A solid, agency and business can work together,
yeah.
and it takes, that a true
That's right,
partnership.
trust.
So,
Yep.
yeah,
The
it
more
takes the
you
trust for
give,
sure.
you're and that's one thing
Yeah.
I think that's a great point because one thing that we've noticed is we've had people who, because you're in IT and you're all about security and you're like, "Ooh, what can I give my marketing partner? What can I not give?" Like, we're on your side. Like, we're here to make
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
successful. We're not
Yeah.
share your information with anybody. Like, the longer that it takes you to trust your marketing partner, the longer success
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
gonna be held out. So I think
Yeah.
that's a great
And one thing I did not mention too is that we also when clients come to us, they have tried the marketing thing before and they've been
right,
burned. It didn't work
right,
out. And
right.
so we also understand that
Yeah,
too, because we've seen it. And
yeah,
so I think that too, I think that's where the building the trust kind of comes back in because we
yeah,
understand, okay, you've probably talked to a lot of marketing agencies, or maybe you've done this before and
right,
did not work out. And so
yeah,
we are different, and we recognize that our industry has that,
right,
sometimes
right.
that bad
I don't
taste in
think
the mouth,
anybody that
so
I talked to has not been burned before, and I'd say that's
yeah,
probably maybe the big number 3 is most of the people that have sold you something, I'm finding have sold you, like, one thing. And
right,
so
yeah,
and I say a lot more no's than I do yeses sometimes because I'm not we're not in it to diagnose and go in after one particular thing because really long sales cycles and 17 to 20 touches per
mhm,
prospect takes a true
a
multi-channel
lot.
part.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably why if you've been burned, tip from Laura and Catherine, if you've been burned before, it's probably 'cause, you know,
yeah, yeah,
flip on a pig and
yeah,
do one thing and then it wasn't successful. So
mhm,
building a system is where it's at, and at
yeah.
the growers, if you're looking for a marketing partner, we can do that.
We understand that salespeople can't be a multi-channel, the
Right.
founder can't be multi-channel,
Right.
so they all have their own place, and so we
Yeah.
wanna that is our purpose here is to help them drive that and to
Yeah.
be multi-channel without having to put in all the work by
All that work.
themselves.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, great tips, learnings from Catherine. She is in the thick of it all
Thanks,
day,
Laura.
every day. So, we will be putting in on the YouTube her LinkedIn. So feel free if you got questions for Catherine to look her up. This is the first season of Get More MSP Leads now that we've shifted from the No Grow Scale podcast. So, Catherine, thank you for being on
Season
the
1.
version. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Laura.
But if you enjoyed what you heard today, be sure to subscribe. You can get all the training you need. This is not a podcast just for MSP founders; it's for your teams too, and you can share these resources anytime through all of our podcast platforms. So, thanks, Catherine.
Thanks, Laura.